On June 2nd, 1537, a voice rang out from the heart of the Catholic Church, one that dared to speak against the rising tide of conquest. Pope Paul III issued Sublimis Deus, a radical and rare decree for its time. Its message? That indigenous people of the Americas were not savages. They were human, they had souls, and they could not, should not, be enslaved. At a time when the Spanish and Portuguese empires were sweeping through the New World with sword, cross, and greed, this declaration flew in the face of empire. Indigenous people, the bull stated, were capable of understanding faith, reasoning, and humanity. In essence, they were equals in the eyes of God. This was no small proclamation. Enslavement and forced conversion were daily realities. To suggest that Native people had rights, let alone immortal souls, was to challenge the very foundations of colonial power. Sublimis Deus thundered against the cruelty. The said Indians are to be invited to the said faith of Christ by the preaching of the Word of God and with the example of a good life. But ideals don't always become reality. Despite the bold words of Pope Paul III, colonial authorities largely ignored the bull. Slavery persisted, often under other names: repartimiento, encomienda, forced labor. Conquistadors and colonists saw profit, not people. Even within the church, the bull had enemies. Powerful factions that benefited from the exploitation of native labor pressured the Pope to water down or reverse his stance. And while Sublimis Deus was never officially revoked, it was effectively silenced by the machinery of empire. Still, the document mattered. It remains one of the earliest formal recognitions of indigenous humanity from a European power. It offered moral ammunition to later advocates for native rights and exposed the hypocrisy of those who preached salvation while dealing in chains. Today, Sublimis Deus stands as a bittersweet moment in history, a whisper of justice drowned out by centuries of conquest. But it reminds us that even in the darkest times, voices rise to say, "This is not right." And sometimes, those voices echo across centuries.